Flight 247 from New York to London was supposed to be an uneventful overnight journey. 8 hours of soft hums, dim lights, and the occasional clink of ice in a glass. Most passengers were asleep, their faces washed in the cool blue glow of the cabin screens. Head flight attendant Melissa Carter moved quietly through the aisle, straightening a pillow here, covering a child with a blanket there. It was her 6th transatlantic trip that month, and she was counting the hours until landing. Everything felt routine, until the first jolt. The seatbelt sign pinged on. The plane shuddered again, harder this time. A nervous laugh rose from somewhere in business class, followed by the sound of silverware clattering to the floor. Melissa grabbed the nearest seat for balance. Then the third jolt hit, and this one wasn't routine. Trays flew open, coffee splashed. Someone screamed. The entire aircraft rattled violently before dropping a few hundred feet in an instant. "Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts immediately," Melissa shouted, trying to steady her voice. But her heart was pounding. She'd been through turbulence before, but this felt different. She glanced toward the cockpit. The door still closed. No intercom announcement yet. Her instincts whispered that something wasn't right, too. A mayday in the sky, the captain's voice finally broke through the speakers, tight, controlled, but shaking beneath the surface. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please remain calm and seated. Oxygen masks will deploy if necessary." Then silence. Melissa waited for the usual follow-up reassurance, but none came. Just the eerie hum of the engines and the frightened murmurs of passengers. A young man in row 9 pressed the call button frantically. "Is the plane going down?" he asked when she rushed over. "No, sir. Everything's under control." Melissa lied gently, though she wasn't sure of it herself. Then she heard something that froze her blood. A short, panicked call from the cockpit over the crew's radio line. "Mayday. Co-pilot unconscious. Need assistance. Static." Melissa's pulse thundered in her ears. The co-pilot was down. That left only the captain, alone at the controls of a wide-body aircraft over the Atlantic Ocean. 3. Desperation in the cabin, she sprinted toward the galley, grabbed the intercom, and shouted to her crew. "We need to find anyone. Anyone with flight experience on board! Check every row." Her junior attendants scattered, moving through the aisles shouting, "Is anyone here a pilot?" Air Force, aviation experience. But all she saw were blank faces, frightened eyes, and trembling hands clutching armrests. People began to panic. One woman cried for her baby. Another man argued with his seatmate about where the life vests were stored. Melissa tried to steady herself. She couldn't afford to panic. She had to lead, even if her own hands were shaking. She started moving row by row, searching for someone who might help. And then, in the rear section of economy, she saw something strange. A woman was asleep. P4. The sleeping stranger, even as alarms beeped faintly and the plane shook, the woman in seat 34A sat undisturbed, hood up, noise-canceling headphones on, head resting peacefully against the window. Melissa couldn't believe it. Everyone else was in chaos, but this woman looked like she was on a beach somewhere. She rushed over and shook her shoulder. "Ma'am, please wake up. We have an emergency." The woman blinked slowly, her eyes adjusting to the dim lights. "What's going on?" she asked in a calm, steady tone. "The co-pilot's unconscious. The captain's alone. We're losing altitude." "Please, do you have any experience flying?" The woman stared at her for a moment, then sighed softly, pulling off her headphones. "Yeah," she said, unbuckling her seatbelt. "I've flown before." Melissa blinked, confused. "You mean like a small plane? A simulator?" The woman stood, stretching her arms. "Something like that." As she straightened up, the light caught a small silver pendant around her neck, a pair of engraved wings. "Name's Major Maya Jefferson," she said simply. "United States Navy. Top Gun program?" Melissa froze. "You're a pilot?" Maya said with a hint of a smile. "Now take me to the cockpit." A pilot in the sky, word spread through the cabin like electricity. A passenger was a pilot. People leaned out of their seats to watch as Maya strode down the aisle, her calm presence cutting through the panic like sunlight through storm clouds. A little girl whispered, "Is she gonna save us?" And her mother hugged her tighter. Melissa led Maya through the galley toward the cockpit door. "They said the co-pilot's unconscious," she explained breathlessly. "I don't know what's happening up there." "Don't worry," Maya said evenly. "We'll find out." Melissa keyed in the override code, and the door opened to chaos. The cockpit was dimly lit, alarms flashing red across every panel. The co-pilot slumped over his controls, unconscious, oxygen mask dangling from his face. The captain, a middle-aged man drenched in sweat, was fighting the yoke with one hand while trying to silence alerts with the other. He looked up as the door opened, confusion flashing across his eyes. "Whoa, she's here to help," Melissa said quickly. Maya stepped forward. "Major Jefferson, U.S. Navy. I've logged over 3,000 flight hours. Let's get your bird under control." For a moment, the captain just stared. Then, with visible relief, he nodded. "God, am I glad to see you. We've lost engine 2, and I can't stabilize the altitude." Maya slid into the co-pilot's seat, her hands moving instinctively across the panels. "Let's shut down the faulty engine. Reroute power and ease her nose up. You still have manual control?" "Barely," he said. "Then hang on." 2-6. The comm command, her voice was calm, precise, like someone who'd done this 1,000 times. "Flaps 10. Hydraulic assist on. Watch your vertical speed." The captain followed her lead, and slowly, miraculously, the nose of the aircraft lifted. In the cabin, passengers felt the violent shaking ease into a gentler sway. People began whispering, sensing something had changed. Melissa stood outside the cockpit, her palms pressed together in silent hope. Minutes passed. Alarms quieted. The hum of the engine steadied. Inside, Maya's focus was unbreakable. She scanned every instrument, every flickering light. "Okay, we're level at 25,000. We've got partial control." "You did good holding her." The captain let out a shaky laugh. "You just saved 280 people, Major." Maya smiled faintly. "Let's not celebrate until we're on the ground." 2-7. Humanity in the air, Melissa re-entered quietly, her eyes wet. "The passengers are calming down," she said. "I told them we have a professional pilot up here." "Good," Maya replied. "Let's keep them that way." As she worked, Melissa noticed something in Maya's eyes, a quiet weight, a loneliness she couldn't quite place. "Top Gun, huh?" she asked softly. Maya chuckled. "That's what the guys called it. I called it surviving." "You must have seen some things," Melissa said. Maya's gaze lingered on the horizon, the dark ocean stretching endlessly below. "Too many," she whispered. The words hung in the air. For a moment, the cockpit wasn't just a place of crisis. It was a place of connection between two women who'd both learned to stay calm when the world fell apart. 2-8. The unexpected twist, as they approached the coast of Ireland, a new alarm blared. "Fuel imbalance?" Maya muttered. "We're losing fuel pressure." The captain frowned. "How bad?" "Bad enough," she said. "We won't make London. We need to divert." Melissa's heart skipped. "Where to?" "Nearest airstrip that can handle a 787, Maya said, flipping through the onboard navigation. "Shannon Airport. We'll make it if we cut engine power to 50% and glide descent." The captain hesitated. "You sure you can pull that off?" Maya gave him a small, confident grin. "Sir, I've landed fighters on moving ships in the dark. I think I can handle solid ground." 229. The descent she got on the intercom, her voice calm and grounded. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Major Jefferson. We've experienced some technical difficulties, but we're under control. We'll be making a precautionary landing shortly. Please remain calm and follow crew instructions." In the cabin, people listened and believed. There was something in her tone, something steady and deeply human, that made even the most terrified passengers breathe again. A child waved at her through the small cockpit window. Maya waved back. The captain adjusted the flaps. "We're cleared for emergency landing." "Copy that," Maya said. "Let's bring her home." To 10. The landing, the runway lights appeared like a ribbon of hope through the fog. The plane descended steadily, guided by Maya's hands. "Gear down," she commanded. Gear down confirmed. "Flaps 30. Flaps set." She gripped the controls, her jaw set. The engines sputtered, one faltering, one holding on. The aircraft trembled as it touched down hard, bouncing once, then again before screeching to a halt. For a long moment, there was silence then. Applause, tears, laughter. Melissa collapsed into a seat, covering her face as relief flooded through her. They were safe. 11. The quiet aftermath. Hours later, the passengers were escorted into the terminal, still dazed but alive. News crews had already arrived. Someone had sent out a mid-air text about the woman pilot who saved everyone. Reporters swarmed the tarmac, but Maya stayed behind, standing quietly near the plane, her duffel bag slung over her shoulder. Melissa approached her slowly. "They want to interview you," she said. "The whole world will know who you are." Maya shook her head. "Let them know the flight landed safely." "That's enough." Melissa hesitated. "You really saved us back there." Maya smiled, small and tired. "That's what we do. We look out for each other." She started to walk away, but Melissa called after her. "Major Jefferson!" Maya turned. Melissa said, her voice breaking. Maya gave a soft nod. "Next time someone's asleep in the back, maybe let her rest. She might have earned it." 2:12. The Sky moves on the next morning. Headlines around the world read: Chor, passenger saves 280 lives after co-pilot collapse. She's a Top Gun veteran. But Maya Jefferson was already gone, blending back into the world like the quiet wind she'd just conquered. Somewhere in a small cafe near the Irish coast, she sipped her coffee alone, watching planes slice through the clouds. She smiled faintly, not for the glory, but for the peace of knowing that kindness, courage, and calm still meant something.